Hey guys, it's Eshani, aka Total Makeup Junkie 101. So I have a little story to tell you guys. The topic of today's video is going to be on an eyeshadow palette formula that I have been looking at for months. Ever since these palettes hit the market, your girl has been looking at them, your girl has been wanting to purchase them, but for some reason, the price tag always drove me away. I mean, at this point, we all know that we're talking about the Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes. Yeah, you guys saw the title of the video, that's why you clicked on it. I've let these palettes slip by during a couple different Sephora sales. Last year, they had their 20% off around the holidays. Didn't pick them up then. Then they also had their 15% off. Didn't pick them up then. These are those items that are definitely worth getting while they're on sale because they're expensive, and even a 15% off makes a really big dent in the price tag of these. So I was at the mall a couple weeks ago with one of my best friends, and of course we went into Sephora and they had a whole Pat McGrath display with all of the eyeshadow palettes, all of the goodies that she has to offer. My best friend hadn't seen the Pat McGrath eyeshadows in person, and she was like, I need to swatch these to see if they are as good as people have been hyping them up to be on YouTube, because oftentimes we know things get really, really hyped up and they're potentially just not as great. So she started swatching them, and I didn't want to start swatching because I knew that I would want to buy them. After I saw a couple colors on her hands, I went in and started swatching, and then it was just a downhill spiral. She was just gawking over all the colors, being like, these are gorgeous. And I couldn't even disagree. They are stunning. There are 3 different eyeshadow palettes that are a part of Pat McGrath's permanent collection. So here's the outer packaging that these palettes come in. It comes in a really unique, almost like, did you guys in grade school have those little accordion folders where you had to kind of do the little, you know, tie thing and you open it and it just kind of accordions out? This packaging is just bringing me back. It's giving me all the feels of grade school. It's really cute. The outer design on all 3 of the palettes is completely different. So this is the number 1 Subliminal. This is the design on the number 2 Sublime palette. And then we've got the number 3 Subversive palette. So they all have very different color schemes, but the overall design of the packaging is the same. One thing I will say, which is a little disappointing, is that the outer packaging was not carried out into the outer packaging of the actual product. I would have loved to see this artwork. I mean, this artwork is just, it's stunning. It is drop dead beautiful. I would have loved to see this actually incorporated on the palette itself. In terms of the packaging of the actual palette, it does come in a black kind of lacquered front. You can see there's some embossing on the front that says like PML, which is like Pat McGrath Labs. On the back, there's this really nice like metal gold plate that is engraved here. The engraving does say Pat McGrath Labs Mothership, use without caution, shade throwing and eye ecstasy may result with prolonged use. Super cute. And then there is like an engraving here with the PML logo as well. All of these eyeshadows are made in Italy. And then when you open up the palette, there is a magnetic closure here. You're also getting a really, really nice mirror. It does get kind of smudgy, but anyways, it comes with a really nice mirror that actually has, I don't know what you call that, but you know where it's like almost like beveled on the sides? I think that might be what it's called. It's a real legit mirror. Like, it looks like a gemstone. One thing I will say about this packaging is that it is hefty. It's a really, really heavy, really legit feeling packaging, which is something to note because one of the issues I had with Pat McGrath when she originally launched her line is that the actual formula and the products were generally really beautiful, but the packaging was so cheap. It wasn't even like acceptable for the price. It was honestly just ridiculous. She has definitely upped her game. The lipsticks, the lip glosses, the lip liners, these palettes, they all have beautiful packaging, which I think does go along with the price. And did I mention that these were $125 a piece? Yeah, they are, they're expensive. So this first palette I've been holding up here is the number 1 Subliminal palette. This one is definitely the most, I guess, muted palette. It's very, very neutral. There's obviously a blue, but if you cover that up, you can see everything else is really wearable. So here are swatches of all 10 of the shades in the number 1 Subliminal palette. From left to right, we have the shades Skin Show Nude, Depth, Ultimate Taupe, Pale Gold number 2, VR Violet, Extreme Black, Lilac Dusk, Substance, Blitz Blue, and Astral White. Moving into the next palette, all three of the palettes have the exact same outer layout. One thing I will say that I wish they would improve upon, none of these palettes have the name of the actual palette on it. I wish that somewhere on this palette it was written, or even like a label, like a sticker label, like number 2 Sublime, just so I know which palette is which. And then also the shades, while they do have names, they're not printed anywhere on the palette. They're printed on this little cardboard cutout that comes in the packaging, which if you're gonna name shadows, I just really wish it would have been on the palette itself. But regardless, this is the number 2 Sublime palette. Now again, this is a fairly neutral palette. I will say for the most part, this is your kind of warmer tone neutrals. If you kind of cut out this green shade here, again, you can see very wearable. And here are all 10 of the colors in the number 2 Sublime palette swatched. From left to right, we have Skin Show Glow, Copper Toned, Iconic, Bronze number 5, VR Nectar, Extreme Black, Dark, Rose Dusk, Blitz Emerald, and Astral Ghost Orchid. And then finally, we have the third palette. This one I have to say is probably my personal favorite just because it's got the most kind of funky shades in it. This is the number 3 Subversive palette. You do have your kind of neutral wearable tones. You've got plenty of browns, plenty of bronzes, this nice matte chocolate here. But then you are getting a really, really bright yellow tone gold, a really pretty bluish duochrome. Here are all 10 shades of the number 3 Subversive palette swatched. From left to right, we have Skin Show Fever, Night Creature, Deep Shade, Gigabyte, VR Pink, Extreme Black, Lazarus, Black Metal, Blitz Amethyst, and Astral Ghost Orchid. Let's talk about the formula on these because I have to say the formula is obviously what sold it to me. There are 6 shadows, which are these 6 right here in the front, that are a traditional shadow in the sense that they have a metal pan, they're a matte or metallic finish shadow. There's honestly nothing insanely groundbreaking with the 6 shadows that are this part of the palette. So first off, let's talk about her mattes. It doesn't kick up a lot of powder. It's super pigmented, super blendable. I will say I love the mattes. However, I equally love my Viseart matte shadows or my Natasha Denona matte shadows. I also really love my Makeup Geek mattes. So there are just a lot of other matte shadows that I feel like do an excellent job. Not to say that these are bad. They're not bad by any means. However, the matte shadows, they're not the reason I would purchase this palette. Now the metallic finish shadows that are in this front section here, really beautiful. They're metallic, they're sparkly, they're not chunky, they're not glittery, they're easy to use with brushes, they don't kick up a lot of fallout. They are a really, really nice metallic formula. But let's talk about the showstoppers, because if we're getting these palettes, if we're investing the $125 for 10 eyeshadow colors, we're looking for something unique. We're looking for something that is making us think, yep, this is worth it. These 4 shades right here, if you just cut out this front part of the palette, the little quad you get here on the end in all 3 of these palettes, that is the reason to purchase them. I'm thinking that this formula was just poured directly into the palette and then probably baked or something, because there's no actual metal pan. You wouldn't be able to depot these if you wanted to. These 4 shadows, oh my gosh. The metallic shimmer that is in these, it gives them, most of them at least, this insane duochrome flip that I've never seen so bright and appealing and so obvious in another shadow before. And the craziest thing is that they almost go on looking like a glitter shadow, but they don't have the amount of fallout that a true glitter would. Actually, in today's look, I went on with this color right here, and I just packed it on with my finger and it went on super opaque, super smoothly. There was no issue blending. If you're looking for unique eyeshadows, unique colors, unique formulas that pack a punch, are easy to use, but give you a really unique effect, these 4 shadows in all 3 of these palettes. This is where it's at. If I could just get rid of all of these, not that these are bad shadows, they're not bad, but I already have matte shadows that I like. I already have metallic shadows that I like. I don't have any shadows that give me the effect that these can give me anywhere in my collection. When me and my best friend were swatching these in store, I even turned to her and said, if Pat McGrath sold these shadows separately, individually, I would buy them all. It's just unfortunate that in order to get all of the colors that she offers in that formula, I had to go and purchase the whole palette. Sacrifices have to be made. I'm not disappointed. I'm not sad. I am so incredibly happy and enthused with these. But yeah, Pat McGrath, if you're watching this video, which you're not, so that's fine, but let's just say you stumble across it. If you could sell these 4, just individually, I'd appreciate it. And now finally, let's go ahead and finish this video up with some housekeeping information. Like I said in the beginning of the video, all of these palettes are made in Italy. You are getting 10 different shadows. Each of these shadows holds roughly 1.32 grams of product, which means that you're getting 13.2 grams of product total. Further breaking that down, that means that you are paying $9.47 per gram for the eyeshadows in this palette. That is high. I think that's maybe the highest price per gram I have in my entire collection. Just to put that into perspective for you guys, a palette like the Juvia's Place palettes, which we all know are a really great value for money, those are usually around $1 or under $1 per gram. And then your average high-end palette is gonna range anywhere from $3 to $5 per gram, something like the Anastasia Modern Renaissance or Urban Decay Naked palette. Anything over $5 a gram is definitely in the luxury price point. I mean, we're talking Dior, YSL, and up. And then when you start hitting over $9 a gram, that's high. Even palettes that might have the same sticker price or a higher sticker price, like Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes or Viseart eyeshadow palettes, the price per gram on those palettes is still around $5 or less. This is possibly the most expensive eyeshadow formula I've ever reviewed. And thinking about that honestly, there are so many incredible eyeshadows at a much lower price, but if you've already tried everything on the market, like I feel like I have, this was a really, really fun formula and a fun product for me to test out. That was it. That was my review on the 3 permanent Pat McGrath Mothership eyeshadow palettes. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to turn the notification bell on if you guys are already subscribed to my channel, because YouTube has been glitching up lately and it hasn't been funneling some of my videos into subscription feeds for some reason. So if you guys hit that notification bell down below, it will notify you every time I upload a video. Thank you so much for watching, supporting, and subscribing, and I will talk to you guys in my next video on Thursday. I'll see you then. Bye.